Hi guys, and welcome to the start of the next video. In this video I am repairing a BMW cylinder head, gas flowing it and setting up the tappets and the cam timing. The valve clearances. So this cylinder head has come in. We've done some work on the bottom end for this customer before, and now he wants to do the cylinder head. It had a broken stud here which he's welded all this up and made a lovely job of welding it actually, because all this was missing apparently. But what we've got to do now is replace the threads in the cylinder head. So what I'm going to do is de-stud it, mount it onto the mill and fly cut across it, because where it's been welded I would have guessed, in fact I could even feel it there, it's going to have some low and some high spots. Then I'm going to, well first of all I'm going to strip it all down. We're going to get all the camshaft out, the rockers, the valves, pressure test it to make sure that it is a good casting, and then start to jazz it up for him. So I've just started taking all the valvetrain out of the BMW cylinder head. I start off with the two rocker shafts. Best way I found to get these out is to undo the 10mm, flick round the eccentric cam for setting the tappets, and then if you just tap the first two out, which are the ones that are normally on cam, you can normally pull the shafts out, which releases them all. And then my customer has bought race cam springs, new rockers and everything there, so the only thing by the looks of what's in the packet I've got to keep is this part here, the adjuster. So what I'm doing now is just taking them out and getting them ready to go into the ultrasonic. I've then got to take the valves out, the springs out. I've got to recondition the valves by the looks of it. He hasn't got new valves, he's got new springs. So I'll get them through the bead blaster, new stem seals, see what the guides are like, and then start to port it. But yeah, we're getting somewhere with this today. Just thought I would show, it's a good job the customer is replacing these, because this is an aluminium rocker and it has a steel insert there, and I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but all of them have badly worn and they're pitted. This would have taken the hardness off these, so this cam would have just kept wearing and wearing and wearing away. So it's a good job that we're replacing these. And the same marks are on the actual camshaft as well. On the nose of the cam, like there, it's started to wear, you can feel it. So I know he's going for a performance upgrade, but this standard cam is destroyed. The other thing that I'm going to do before I get on with modifying the cylinder head is just quickly pressure test it, because I remember when these was quite common on the road, they used to suffer with cracking all the way along here, and they used to put oil in the water. I mean, normally you can see it, but I can't see anything in there. But for how long it takes to do a pressure test, I don't think it's worth risking it, so I'll quickly do that too. So I'm machining the exhaust manifold face today. So I've mounted it in the mill, I've put in a fly cutter, I've got it sitting level, and my customer's made a wicked job of welding this up. So I'm just going to fly cut it nice and flat, put the gasket on, position where the two welded up holes are, drill it in the mill, so I'm drilling it nice and square, and then just run a tap down both of them, and then we're on to gas flowing it. So that's that exhaust manifold face all skimmed. So what I'm going to do now is plot where these two stud holes are and drill and tap them. So what I've done here is plot where I need to drill my two 6.8mm holes. Then I've moved into these holes to see how deep these are drilled out, and then I've set the stop on the mill to that. So basically I'm going to completely replicate what this is set to. And now I'm just going to come down till I hit the stop. Like that, and then move on to the next one. And that's it. So what I need to do now is tap these two holes out. I'm going to run the tap down these, or run a thread cleaner down the other ones. Then I'm going to remove the exhaust guides and then fully gas flow the cylinder head. The reason I'm taking the exhaust guides out is they're worn where the inlets aren't worn, so I'm going to leave them and port around them. So that's the ports all done. What I've got to do now is do the combustion chamber, cut the seats, give it a skim, tidy up all around the plug holes and everything like that. The GoPro at the moment is starting to go flat, so I'm going to go and swap this battery over and then get on with the combustion chamber. So a job that I'm doing here just before I fit it into the cylinder head is I'm just shortening the new exhaust guides by about 4mm and then just bulleting the end so the airflow can get round the guide quite nice. So with the valve guides now bulleted, what I'm going to do is fit them into the cylinder head, and I'm using my Carmack valve guide press for that. So I've put the right adapter in, and then what I'm going to do is just bring up the bottom hydraulic ram to push against the seat, so I've got something to push against. Now I bring down the top ram. I've made a little collar that sits in here so I can get my valve guide depth right, and then all it is just a case of pressing down until the guide bottoms out. So that's one done, and then I'm just going to fly through the other 5. So that's all the valve seats cut now on the BMW cylinder head. 3 angle on the inlet, 3 angle on the exhaust. What I've got to do now is take it down. We're going to give it a reface. I'm going to take about 15 thousandths of an inch off just to try and get the compression up a little bit as well. Then grind all the valves in. Tap out the drilling where I've repaired the cylinder head on the end, on the exhaust face. Then through the cleaner for a bit and then build it and set the tappets. A few of you might have noticed that I was using my Mira by hand instead of using the Vera drive. Basically the Vera drive has gone faulty on the Mira, so if there's anyone out there that's a bit of a electronics expert that could help me out by looking at that, please get in touch. Or if Mira are out there and they want to do me a very good deal on a new cabinet for my machine, then you could definitely get in touch, please, because I would really like to get that. We've been using the Pro Valve pretty much flat out, which is good because we needed to use it a bit more. But because this cylinder head was over here, I just wanted to crack on with it and use the Mira. I still love the Mira. So yeah, we're going to skim it now, grind the valves in, cut the thread, get it through the wash, and then it's a case of building it and setting the tappets. So that's the BMW now all mounted up on the Comac RP330. I've got a diamond tip in there, PCD. It's like a button actually. Let me see if I can get it in shot. It's there, it's like a little round button. So that's it, I've skimmed the cylinder head down to the size that I want and got rid of any warp. It's quite low where it's been welded over this corner here, so that's flat now. So the next thing I'm going to do before I give it its final cut is I'm just going to deburr it, and that way it just leaves a better finish because it doesn't pick up any of the burrs as the fly cutter's going over. So that's the BMW out the wash now, and I'm gonna put the valves and springs and cam in it. So I thought I would just, before I put the valves in it, show you the porting work. So that's the exhaust port, which I've opened up loads. New set of bronze exhaust guides in there, which I've just bulleted the ends of as well to help flow. My customer had welded this part up I've just neatened it off, fly cut the exhaust manifold face, drilled and tapped it, M8 by 1.25 for the new exhaust studs. It's all been in the acid. You just turn it over. I've then cut the seats on the Myra, polished the combustion chambers. They're 3-angle seats, and then I've ported all around the boss of the guide, and it's just it feels pretty much perfect, to be honest. I'm really happy with the end result on that. I've cleaned up all the rough edges in the combustion chamber, and then 3-angle seats on the inlet, all blended into the port. I've taken 18 thou off the cylinder head just to up the compression a slight bit. And then around the inlet port, I've blended it all into the guide. So there's like normally a big boss in here, that's all been taken out and smoothed all the way back, so it's a nice steady flow up to the guide. Then it flows around the guide, and then a nice, I've barely touched the short turn radius there, but I've just rounded it off real nice. If I get a shot like that, it just looks awesome. I'm dead happy with that. So what I've got to do now is put it back onto the headstand. That one first. I'll just move that over a little bit. So I've got to put the spring seats back on, new valve stem oil seals, fit the modified valve springs and the modified cam, and then set the tappets. I'll just show you the valves. So the valves are the standard valves which I've shot blasted, put a new 45° on, polished the stem up, so these are all ready to fit as well. So I'll crack on with this and then show you when it's ready. So to fit the valve stem oil seals on the BMW, I've got this bit of kit down here, which comes with all different pilot sizes, or guides basically, and then these are numbered 1 to 8, and they're different sizes to allow for the stem seal to sit on them. So you pick what size pilot you need to fit into the guide, and then you'll pick which driver you need to fit around the stem seal. So to test it, you just find the one where it's just biting onto the metal part of the stem seal, and then once you've got that, I'll put this here. I'll just fit one just to show you. I always put a little bit of oil around the stem seal, not a lot, just enough to stop it from tearing the valve stem oil seal, because it's very easy when you fit these that the edge of the guide is enough just to ever so slightly pull the inside of the stem seal, and what can happen is the rubber part of the stem seal will pull out of the steel part, and then it's scrap, and then it's a job to buy a stem seal as a one-off. So once you've got that like that, it's just a case then of pushing down, and that's the stem seal locked on. So get the second stem seal, just move over to another one. And that's it. So what I've done now is fitted the new camshaft. With the camshaft kit, we get fitting instructions for what the valve clearances should be, what the spring installed height is, but I've already set that. I checked that earlier. There's also a how to break your cam in, so they're running in. So I'm going to save that for my customer, but I need this information for setting the valve clearances. So what I've done is I've put build lube on the camshaft journals, but I haven't actually put it on the lobes yet. I'm going to put normal engine oil on that for now, and the reason being is the build lube is quite sticky and quite thick, so it wouldn't really give me an accurate valve clearance, and also it would just make it really difficult with the feeler gauges. So in here I've just got some normal engine oil, so I'm just gonna put a little bit on each lobe, and then once I've set the clearances I will then smother it in build lube as well. Now, to lock the cam into the cylinder head, we fit, well, these actually lock the shafts in, so we fit that, but this doesn't go in just yet. Then to lock the cam into the cylinder head, it has this little housing, so I've got a new oil seal and a new O-ring to go in there in a minute. And then basically I've already taken out all of the adjusters because my customer has supplied a whole new set of rockers for it. So what I'm going to do is get all my little bits and bobs ready, so I know exactly where I'm going with it all. There's my customer's old studs and dowel, which he's going to need, so I'm going to put all his old bits in there. And now I'm going to get the two rocker shafts and the new rockers, and then I'm going to build this exhaust side up first and then set the clearances on that, then spin the head around and then put the inlet side in and set the clearances on that. So the next thing for me to do is set the tappets, and I've just looked to see what the valve clearance is, and it's 10 thou. So I'm going to get my feeler gauge, and what I'm going to do is do one at a time. So I'm going to start off with this one, set this one up, lock it off, put the spring retainer on, and then just keep moving over like that. So that's this BMW all done, and Marcus has just arrived to pick it up. The tappets are all set, it's all washed off, looking good. I'm just going to put the spray bar in while Marcus is here, just save him doing that. I've got the oil seal in. And that's it, that's that job done.